What's up, positive bitches? How are we doing today? If you're hearing this episode, you are meant to be here, so keep listening. Today, we're going to be talking about confidence. You know her, we want her, we love her, and we're going to learn more about her. We are going to specifically be talking about confidence when we do not feel confident at all. It's easy to feel confident when you're feeling good. Your outfit is on point. The hair is slicked back. Everything is looking amazing. But what about those times where we feel like, oh my God, I have a pimple the size of America on my forehead. My hair, it's not a good hair day. I'm not feeling great in my body. These cramps, I'm having negative thoughts. What do we do on those days? And I don't really know if anyone's talking about this, so I thought, you know what? We should talk about it. Us as positive bitches have to discuss what the fuck are we supposed to do when we do not feel confident. How do we get confident when we are not already there? Before we get into it, of course, a little bit of announcements. As you know, I've been recording this podcast visually and putting it on YouTube. If you are more into the visual arts, I wouldn't know, or I wouldn't maybe call what I'm posting a visual art, but you know what? Since we're talking about confidence, fuck it. If you want to see visual arts, go to my YouTube. That bitch is positive, and you can also watch the video form of this podcast. If you are going through a breakup, baby girl, join the 21-day breakup glow up challenge where you can learn to heal, take your power back. Most of all, stop crying about them, stop stalking them. You can find this link on my Instagram at Vibin with Cici, VIBIN with CIICII. All of my links are in my bio on Instagram. If you're looking for more of an intimate setting when it comes to coaching, I also offer one-on-one services from anything that has to do with attachment system healing to divine feminine activation and literally everything in between, maybe even confidence. I want to get straight to this podcast today because that is the type of mood I'm in, so we're going to honor it. Feeling like shit. It's not an excuse to not have confidence. You can feel like shit and still have confidence. How do I know this? I do it all of the time. Recently, I had, as you know from my last episode, a little breakout of dermatitis on my face. And I thank God. I really thank God. I am screaming and I will continue to scream. I thank God it's not as bad as it could be, because when I Googled it, every hair on my arm stood up. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, every spirit, guide, angel, high vibrational entity out there. Thank you for not being what it could be. That's first of all, okay? Thank you. So I understand it's not as bad as it could be, but I still don't want this little rash on my face. And that's what it is. It's redness around your mouth. So it's not the biggest deal, but I don't want it on my face. I said in my last podcast, I refuse to cover it up with makeup. Like, I won't do it unless I'm going to, a dinner where I'm going to be wearing makeup anyway, whatever. But I'm not going to, or I don't want to cover it up when I make a TikTok, or even right now. I'm not going to cover it up. I don't want to put more chemicals on something that's already irritated. So I've had to come to the conclusion of, okay, well, I have this red thing on my face, but I don't want to cover it up. So what are we going to do here, Cici? What is the verdict? And my verdict was, we're going to be a confident bad bitch anyway, and we're going to walk around with this shit. Okay? That's what we're going to do, and we're going to heal it. So I am naturally a confident person, but I'm not going to lie. Having a rash on your face knocks it down a few pegs. It's not so easy to be like, I'm so confident when I have something red on my face that's not really me. It's this little irritant that's occurring. It's harder to be confident when we're not feeling confident, obviously, but we don't even talk about it in this way. So when we're having something going on, whether it's our period, it's the hormonal acne, it's dermatitis, whatever it may be that we're going or experiencing, how can we work through it so that we can still feel good? We can still be confident. And I put this question out to you guys and I said, what do you want to talk about on this subject? What specifically do you want to know about when it comes to being confident even when we feel terrible? And as I've gone through this dermatitis journey, I have to say, and I'm getting goosebumps right now, as much as I don't like it, dermatitis, bitch, you are teaching me a lesson or two. You really are. She's a fucking teacher. She is. Everything is medicine, including this shit. And I am learning from her. I have been collecting little things I've been doing to help myself get out of the house because I don't want to go places when I'm all red and all flaky. And also it's a little uncomfortable, like literally on my skin. So I have been thinking, I'm going to write everything down that I'm doing. Then we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it and we're going to figure this shit out. So one of the questions I had from Instagram, and be sure to follow me on Instagram because that is where we talk about the podcast and we talk literally every single day about things that I see or things you guys want to hear about. So make sure to follow me there at Vibing with CC. Someone asked, what do you do when you can't bring yourself into thinking you're pretty? Here's the thing. I think we have gotten so lazy that we rely on our thoughts and feelings to tell us about the world. Why are we doing that? Our thoughts and feelings are not fact. As much as we want to pretend like they are, they simply are not. They're passing energy forms. Our thoughts and our feelings are energies. And do you know what? They're the least permanent energies out there. They go through our body like freaking water. You drink that, you pee it out. These thoughts and feelings are the same way. They come in and they go out if we let them. However, when we start to believe that we're not pretty and we feel like we're not pretty and we give our power away to those energy forms, then they persist. Then they start growing like fungus in our bodies. So what do you do when you can't bring yourself into thinking you're pretty? You don't have to do that. You don't even have to bring yourself to that spot. You don't have to think you're pretty in the second. You need to decide you're confident anyway. You need to decide I'm beautiful fucking anyway. That is one of the things I've been doing. I'll look at myself in the mirror and I'll see Mrs. D. I'm just going to call her Mrs. D. I can't say the word dermatitis one more time. I'm going to faint. So anytime Mrs. D makes herself known to me, I'm like, okay, bitch. Hi, how are ya? How are you doing? And I look at her and I say, well, I don't love the way that looks on my face, but I am fucking amazing and I'm confident anyway. I'm going to be confident anyway. This isn't going to take my life away. I was looking at it when it was worse. At this point, it's healing. But when it was worse, I literally thought, I don't want to go to yoga and see people. Like, it's embarrassing for me to go to yoga and see people when I have this shit on my face. I'm a healthy person and this doesn't make me look healthy, even though actually, they don't know the cause. But even though I don't think it has anything to do with my health habits, it would bother me. I'm around all these healthy people and I have this shit on my face. But then I thought, you know what? I'm going to have this on my face. That's fucking okay. And I'm going to be confident anyway. I am beautiful anyway. Who fucking cares if there's a little redness on my face? You know, the only person who cares the most is actually me. And when I'm in the room, first of all, my yoga class is so it's dark lit, which I love. It's moody. It gives us drama. It's dark lit. People I don't know if they can even see it at this point. I don't know, but I'm thinking probably. They don't care. They don't care if I have fucking redness around my mouth. They're there to sweat their asses off. They have their own problems. And honestly, even if they do see it and they think, ew, I don't fucking care. That's not helping me clear it away. It's not helping me heal it. Think what you want, not my problem. So my point is, fuck the thoughts that are telling you that you can't go out because you feel fat or because you have a pimple on your face. Fuck those thoughts and those feelings because they are not fact. Sometimes you're going to have the thoughts, like I had the thought of, I don't want to go to yoga because this is on my face. That doesn't mean I should believe that thought though. You have to decide to keep living no matter what's going on internally, externally. If you're having these thoughts, if you don't like what's on your face or your body or your ass, whatever it is, you have to decide to show up confidently anyway. And I swear to you, your confidence is one decision away. You just have to choose that you are going to show up as this bad bitch anyway. That's what it is. Facts don't matter when that attitude is in check, girl. Okay? That's fact. This is not fiction. Facts do not matter when your attitude is in check. I go to yoga, and because I've been so focused on being confident anyway, I swear to you, the most people are coming up to me. They're talking to me. I've had the most interactions since dermatitis. I've talked to more people in these last couple of weeks than I have how long have I been going there? I don't know, over a year. I've had more interactions with people. More men than ever have been coming up to me now that I have dermatitis. I mean, what the fuck is that? You know what it is? I'm going to tell you what it is. It's because I've been fine-tuning my confidence that regardless of what I look like, I'm going to push through anyway. And it makes me so proud of myself. It really does. Because when I used to go to the gym, I would cover it up with, I've told you about this in another podcast, but it's this little green color correcting thing. So it's a primer. It's not really makeup. But when I go to hot yoga, I can't cover this shit up. I'm going to be sweating. It looks like I walked out of a shower. So there's no point in trying to cover anything up because it will just completely fall off my face. Completely. So I had to make the decision, well, all right, I might not love this, but here the fuck we are, and I'm going to show up as my baddest bitch self anyway. And I swear to you, I'm not lying. Like, I don't know how else to say this, but I've had the most interactions. I've had the most men come up to me than ever, and interactions with women as well. But I literally noticed it because I thought to myself, that's weird. That is weird. And it's not weird. It's because I've been deciding I'm going to show up as my best self no matter what. So the first part of being confident, even when you feel like shit, is deciding you're going to be confident anyway. I'm not going to be some little like, oh no, I'll move my mat. Don't even look at me. I'm like, no, bitch, this is my spot. And by the way, I want that extra heater. And I've gotten it every single time. The second thing that I do is I make this shit into a joke because when something becomes too painful for me to deal with, I'm like, how can I laugh about this? Laughing also helps you heal. The reason dermatitis is, not dermatitis, Mrs. D. The reason why Mrs. D is so frustrating to me, it's not even what she looks like. It's that I can't figure out what's causing it. Mrs. D doesn't have an exact cause. Like when you Google it, and I've gone to 3 different doctors, no one knows the cause. So I think I kind of know what I did. I microbladed? Is it a micro? No. I think it's microblading. I microbladed my face once and then tweezed my face. And then after that, I just had dermatitis. I don't know if it's also with the mask or just maybe my current body's hormonal state. Maybe I'm going through energetic changes and for some reason that is showing up for me. I don't know. But that has been the most frustrating thing, is not knowing. It's not even what it looks like. It's not understanding why it's happening or where it's coming from or how can I heal it. There's not an exact cure and there's not an exact reason for its cause. So when there's not a cause known and there's no cure known and you're sitting in the middle of that trying to figure it out day in and day out, and your job is to constantly be on Zoom with your clients, on video on TikTok, on video now on YouTube, constantly looking at yourself in the face on camera, that is not the funnest experience. So what I did was I said, how can I make this more enjoyable? Because if not, I'm going to lose my shit. Did I shed tears over it multiple times? Yes. And I'm happy I did because I need to release that energy anyway. But I thought in that moment, okay, I can cry. That's fine. Whatever. That will pass. But I'm not going to stop working. I'm not going to stop going to yoga. I'm not going to stop me, because if I am to stop doing the things that make me me, that's going to make me feel worse. I'm not going to give my power away to Mrs. D like that. It's not happening. In fact, we're going to be best fucking friends. I'm going to convert her to be a lover of me that she just disappears. So I would make things into a joke. Like, I would literally think to myself, you know what? I'm so beautiful. They're lucky to see my dermatitis. They're lucky to see it up this close. They're lucky that I'll even talk to them with this on my face. I make it a joke. I literally joke to myself all the time. It makes it funny. And it's like, why not invite some humor? Life isn't always easy. Why not make it funny though? You know what I mean? There's no point why we can't laugh about it. And when we laugh about it, it kind of shocks our brain into being like, wait a second, you were just upset this whole entire time and now you're laughing. What the fuck just happened? It makes the brain perk up a little bit. You've ever given a dog a treat and its head kind of tilts and it's like, huh? That's what our brain does when we start joking about the thing that's making us absolutely miserable. So I joke about it. I'm literally like, they'd be lucky to get this close to my dermatitis. They'd be lucky. They'd be lucky to see this in person. And I literally just joke about it with myself, which actually, this reminds me, I was listening to the podcast POV, You're My Therapist, by this bad bitch woman, Divine. Divine is her name. And she had a podcast episode. If you're going to listen to her podcast, I really recommend this specific episode. It was called Being a Bad Bitch is a Thankless Job. And when I was listening to this episode, I was just laughing so hard. It made me feel like I could bring a lighter sense to my dermatitis, because she was talking about how her podcast is amazing, by the way. POV, point of view, You're My Therapist. She was talking about how being a bad bitch is a thankless job. And yeah, it fucking is. Like, you being your best self, doing your shadow work, telling yourself you're confident, doing your affirmation so you can show up all sparkly. No one thanks us for that. No one thanks us for that. And obviously we're doing it for us. But when we walk into a room, we raise the vibration of that whole entire room. And Divine was talking about how, oh yeah, firemen, they're in their truck and they're putting out fires and shit, but they never had to put on eyelashes while in a moving car. That was a direct quote. And that is literally the truest thing I've ever heard in my life. Being a bad bitch, being a confident bitch, is a thankless job. When someone's freaking out at you and you hold your vibration and you don't react, it is a thankless job. And so we have to start reminding ourselves of this fact that, like Divine says, we are bad bitches. We are bad bitches. And if no one else is going to thank us, we got to start thanking ourselves. We have to start thanking ourselves. We got to start helping ourselves. Meaning, when something is difficult, let's bring in the humor. And bring in the humor in a way that's not self-deprecating. That was something else Divine talked about too. And honestly, let's freaking talk about this. I really liked her point. She was talking about how she was on set somewhere and she said, she's so funny, but she said she was looking in the mirror and she didn't like the way her outfit looked. And she said, oh, it's giving maternity. And there was two men on the set, and I think she said, like, no one else laughed, like, she just said it, but she said she would use this self-deprecating humor so that someone else couldn't say it first, so that if she's the meanest in the room, well, then no one else can be mean to her because she already said it, period. She already said the mean thing. And I used to use self-deprecating humor because I almost wanted to feel validated, like, number one, I know this is on my face, so you don't have to say anything, but also tell me that I'm still fine anyway. And I think a lot of us use humor to try to get outside validation or get to the punchline like Divine did before someone else can. And I want us to start using humor so that instead of beating someone else to the punchline or trying to get validation that we don't look like crap, instead of doing that, let's use humor to help ourselves. Let's use humor to boost ourselves up. We have to start using humor and making a joke to increase our probability of succeeding in our day, not to hurt us, not to hurt us. If you want to listen to this podcast, I really recommend that you do. I love Divine's content, and she always talks facts and puts it in the funniest forms and talks about how you can claim your baddest bitch, and is super honest too, which I really commend of her, how honest she is with her experiences and her feelings. I really look for that in content. So thank you, Divine, if you ever hear this. You're beautiful, you're a bad bitch, and I think we would be best friends. Anyway, another question I got about the question that I put up on not TikTok, Instagram. What do you want to hear about? Someone asked, how do you improve and build self-esteem? And really, when it comes to improving your self-esteem when you don't feel great, something that really works for me, deciding you're confident is number one. Using humor to build yourself up. They'd be lucky to even see this ass. But also, staying on routine really helps me feel better. Because if I'm to look at Mrs. D and then be like, this is the worst thing ever, I'm gonna die. If I'm to do that and then I get off my routine, I'm gonna feel worse. I love my non-negotiables, my going to yoga. I'm eating vegan again, by the way. Just don't even try to keep up with me because I'm a flexitarian, okay? Kim Kardashian said it, and I love that term because I'm going to honor whatever the fuck my body's feeling and whatever it is that I need. As of right now, I'm a vegan, but don't quote me on it because tomorrow I could be a meat-eating little woman, okay? We just don't know. We don't know, so don't try to predict it. But anyway, keeping on my routine really helps me feel like the good parts of me are still good. Like if I'm to go eat a bag of Oreos because I don't like the way my skin looks, that's fuel to the fire. It's going to make me worse. I'll be more inflamed. But also, it's not going to make me feel good about myself. I really recommend, if you're not feeling good, don't fall off your routines. Try to stick to them as best as you can. Keep up the prayer, keep up the meditation, keep talking to God, keep doing yoga, keep doing the workout, keep drinking your celery juice. Don't fall off completely because sometimes we want to do that, but it doesn't feel good. It doesn't help. So I found, how can I improve my self-esteem? Well, I was proving to myself how powerful I was. I was thinking, well, I don't like my skin, but I'm going to go get my nails done anyway. And I happened to see my friend Sophia there. Hi, Sophia, if you're hearing this. And I didn't even bring up Mrs. D, because no, she's not the center of my life. I'm the center of my own life. And I went to go get my nails done anyway, even not liking the way my skin looked. And I felt so good afterwards. Like, even though I have this, I still love and accept myself, and I'm still going to continue to live my life, and I'm going to do the things that make me me. And you know what? I'd rather have Mrs. D with good nails than have Mrs. D with bad nails. You know what I mean? So no matter what we're feeling, like, I'd rather have bad thoughts and a really good pedicure than just having bad thoughts and like crusty toes. You see what I'm saying here? You catch my drift? I'd rather have Mrs. D and go to yoga than have Mrs. D and feel really uncomfortable in my own skin and not sweat and just be like, blah, I want to eat an Oreo. So it's like, let's pick and choose our battles here. And having Mrs. D is bad enough. I don't need to have Mrs. D and also fall off all of my routines and dig myself into a deeper hole than I already am. Another question I got was how to be confident when you feel like you're having mental and emotional lows and you're having lows of mental and emotional health. So another person also said, understanding it's okay to give yourself space while you're feeling like shit. And I felt like that was the answer to the other question. So yes, we have to realize that as much as we want to stay on our routines, there's also space that we can create to let ourselves rest. Because if you are feeling sick, and then you rest. The reason for resting is so your cells can reset, your body can reset, your body can do what it's meant to do and heal itself. Of course, there's things that help us, etc., but our body can, mostly heal a lot of its own issues if we stop taking in external sources like maybe Doritos. That's probably not going to help. But resting is as important as staying on your routine, and we got to find the Tao. We got to find the middle way here. Every single day when we wake up, we have different hormones, especially as women. We're like hormonal monsters half of the month, if not all the month. If you have anything else, autoimmune or anything, your hormones can be all over the place. So resting is also a key ingredient of healing. We need rest to recover. I want you to just try your best. That's what this is about. When you know, okay, this is on my calendar for my day, if it's too much, but it's your usual routine, just say, well, how can I try my best? Because I need this rest and I want to stay on my routine. How can I try my best? When you try your best every single day, it doesn't matter how much you do. You will feel proud that you tried your best anyway, where you are. There's a difference between self-care, and self-care to me is staying on my routines, and also soul care. Soul care is doing that meditation. It's resting, sleep. It's making sure that your soul feels fed. Self-care more is a face mask and, pedicure, manicure, all of those things. So we want to make sure that yes, our routines and our self-care is there, but also our soul care is there. Making sure that we're trying our best, but not pushing ourselves to an extreme where we literally can't get out of bed anymore. We're making sure that we're having deep time to ourselves. We're doing our breath work. Affirmations have been really helpful to me. I have been doing EFT on myself for my Mrs. D. And if you want help with EFT, you can book a session with me. I will teach you how to do it. It's simple and it's really effective. I find that it really brings down any inflammation that I have. So looking at your calendar and finding balance is an amazing way, because you're going to keep doing your routine, which is going to build this self-esteem up, because you're going to show, even though I don't feel great, I still love and accept myself, and I'm still going to do everything that I've been doing because I'm still going to be me. But also, okay, but I need to add in rest too. It's really a balancing act and finding what feels good to you. Another question I got was how to be confident enough to the point you do not compare yourself with anyone. I think one major thing is no one knows the shit you've been through, and no one else has walked exactly in your shoes. So to compare yourself to someone else, it's an unfair comparison because they have not been through what you've been through. And if you're comparing yourself in a way that's negative, it's just a fucking waste of time. You have to frame this as a waste of your own time. If you're going to compare yourself to anyone, compare yourself to the older version of yourself, because that's going to show you how far you've come and how amazing you truly are doing. Comparison is a thief of joy. The only time I'll ever tell you to compare yourself, it's not really even comparison. It's more so inspiration. When you see someone out there doing something that you want to, use it as inspiration. I don't really think that's comparison, but use it as inspiration. But don't compare yourself to someone else. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't know what their soul contracts are. You don't know what their karmic debt is. You do not know what their journey is supposed to look like. So you should be focusing on yours instead. Part of helping me not have jealousy for other people is simply the fact I don't want bad karma back. I don't want to look at someone else and be like, oh, well, I should have this and they should not. And they're not as good as me, but they're getting these statistics and blah, blah, blah. The reason I don't do this, seriously, what has stopped me is thinking about the bad karma I would get back. Because what you put out, you're going to get back. I don't want to put out negativity. Like attracts like. If we're going to be putting out negativity, we're going to attract negativity towards us. So is this selfish? Maybe, but I don't care. It works for me. So instead, what I would do is literally guide myself into actually cheering them on. So let's say I see someone who I think, I'm just going to make something up. My content is, more informative and better, but they're getting all this interaction. Instead of me having jealousy, I'm going to say, wait a second. I commend them for the results that they have gotten. And that's really amazing. And I'm cheering them on, and I see them. I'm cheering on their higher self. I really commend the job that they're doing. First of all, one, that feels a lot better. Secondly, you're sending out good vibes, so you're going to get good vibes back. It's just better karma. So I've been guiding myself into giving praise rather than being petty, because I don't want petty vibes coming back to bite me in the ass. And I also think it's just a super duper waste of my time, energy, and focus. If it's not building me up, if it's not helping my health, if it's not building up my bank account, I don't know why I would engage with this jealousy thing. I really do see it as a waste of time. And anything that someone else has, you're also a human. You can have it too. You might have to tune up your vibration. You might have to change around a couple of things, but you can still have whatever it is they have. The last thing I've been doing to help my confidence actually is a lot of surrendering to my spirit guides and to my angels. I feel like when we're in the 3D world, we oftentimes forget that we have a spirit team that's guiding us and protecting us and there with us. So in times where I feel a little unbalanced, I make an extra effort to feel my spirit guides' presence, to pray with them, talk to them, meditate. When I feel a little like, ooh, I'm becoming ungrounded, I make an extra effort to ground myself through journal, meditation, and connecting with my team, because we can feel lonely sometimes because most of us aren't seeing our spirit guides right in front of us unless we're opening up those clairvoyant abilities. So we have to make a conscious effort and literally remember, oh shit, I have a whole entire spirit team out there with me, supporting me. Something I love to do is say, and I'll sit quietly and I'll say spirit team or loving ancestors, spirit guides, whoever, of highest vibration, allow me to feel a tingle in my hand if you're here. And then once the tingle is there, I'll say, okay, please increase this feeling and let me feel it again. And then I'll acknowledge it. I said, thank you. I feel it. Now increase the sensation even further. And I'll just do that until it's all over my body, because feeling that sensation makes it more tangible and it can make it more real, which I find really interesting. So sometimes I'll do that where I'm literally asking them to elicit a physical sensation in my body so I can feel them, so I know that they're there, just as an extra oomph of, hey, by the way, we're here. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. As always, if it resonated, please leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps the podcast grow. It helps us reach more positive bitches and grow the community, which I just feel like 2023 is the year to grow positive bitchology and positive bitches like no other. Like we're pouring fertilizer on this bitch, okay? And if not for me, do for you, because when you give praise to others, you get it back, and it's just good ass karma. The sparkle in me, as always, honors a sparkle in you, and I will see you in the next one. I love you, I love you, I love you. Mwah.
touch me.